We are a contract agency with the city of Dublin, California. They contract police services through the sheriff's office. Our chief is Garrett Holmes. He's a commander with the sheriff's office, and he's the chief of police services for the city of Dublin. I'm going to bring the chief forward to explain the events that unfolded. We just had some breaking developments here prior to coming out to the press conference. We're going to explain those as well. But a lot has gone on since about 12:45 this morning, 1 o'clock in the morning to now. So a lot's going on. Bring the chief up to start with the event as it unfolded when we received the first 911 call.
Thank you, Lieutenant Kelly. About 12:45 last night, we received a 911 call from the 3100 block of Colebrook Place, or Colebrook Lane. And the caller called and said that there was an intruder that had come into the house that was brandishing a firearm and ultimately fired that firearm and killing 2 people in our community. It's a great loss for our community, and it's even more disheartening to find out that it was one of our own that actually was the trigger person behind this tragic incident. The officers responded to the scene, as well as medical personnel. Unfortunately, the wounds that the victims incurred were life-threatening and could not be treated there on scene. We have numerous personnel that is processing that crime scene right now. We have assistance from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, Crime Lab, and their Coroner's Bureau, and we'll be processing that scene for the evidence that is there. From there, that 911 call, we received some information that the suspect had fled the scene in a dark-colored vehicle. We were able to garner investigative leads on that particular vehicle, and we put out a bulletin to all of the surrounding agencies throughout the state of California. Just recently, we received a call from the suspect, and he wanted to turn himself in. And so we were able to have a conversation with him, and during that conversation, we were able to keep him on the phone line and direct the CHP units down to the area near Coalinga to take the suspect safely into custody. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Lieutenant Kelly.
I want to, you can hear the emotion in Chief Holmes' voice, and I want to tell you why. Is because Chief Holmes personally talked the suspect into surrender and spent about 45 minutes on the phone with him to get him to surrender peacefully. And I've known Chief Holmes for a long time. I can see the emotion and feel the emotion in his voice. So this has been a very difficult day for him and for our department. So I really want to credit Chief Holmes for his leadership. And he just so happened that when the call came in, we couldn't let it sit. So he picked up the call. I was with him and one of our crisis intervention deputies, and he was able to bring this to a peaceful resolution. So thank you, Chief. I can see and feel the emotion of what he just did. A very noble act on your part, sir. So thank you. You're going to have a lot of questions for us, and so we're ready to answer those questions. There's some questions we don't know the answers to, so I'm willing to go there. But so where we stand now is this is an active double homicide investigation. There was a 3rd person present in the home at the time of the double homicide. That person is safe. That person is a key eyewitness. Our investigators are working that. We have the scene here on Colebrook in Dublin being investigated, our crime lab personnel, and all of our detective staff. We have staff deployed now to the Central Valley, where we have safely taken Mr. Williams into custody. At this point, we will meet with the Highway Patrol. I want to credit the Highway Patrol for their quick action. They deployed resources in a part of the state that's very rural and desolate during this very trying time with the temperatures. I really can't tell you in my time here how impressed I was with Chief Holmes' ability and our team's ability to really get this to a safe surrender. I'm really humbled by that. As you can tell, our agency is in shock. This is not something we deal with. This is not what we're about. We had no idea that this could happen. Mr. Williams, as you all will delve into his life and his background, you'll find that he grew up in a very affluent home, well-loved, graduated from college with honors, was really a remarkable young person. How we got here today, it will be part of our investigation and something we'll be looking at as a law enforcement profession. So I'm willing to take some questions now. You'll have to forgive us. We just had some very emotional moments as we negotiated this surrender. So I'll start over here.
He is in custody. Has he been booked yet? And
No, we just took him into custody 5 to 10 minutes ago, down near Coalinga, exit 337. California Highway Patrol got there. We also had aircraft up in the air to get to that location. Our detectives are en route to the Central Valley to meet with our CHP partners. We will take custody of Mr. Williams. We'll bring him back here to the Dublin Police Station. Once he's here, we'll speak with him and further get details. I can tell you that he did throw the firearm out. There's an active search underway right now near the Altamont to recover the firearm. We hopefully have an idea of an area where the firearm was discarded. That helped us in our conversations with him. He explained to us that he did not have any other weapons in the car. We were concerned about his potential to inflict more violence or to harm himself. So the chief was able to get that information, and it sounded like there were, at that point we knew there were no other firearms in the car. We believed, sounded like he was being truthful and honest with us. So that really helped de-escalate the stress level as far as a confrontation. He complied with everything and surrendered peacefully, and so we're in the midst of doing that exchange with CHP. Obviously, time and distance being a factor, so he'll be back here later this afternoon.
can you just explain the relationship between him and the victims? Was there some?
So that's a key question. We're looking into the relationship. There is connectivity between Mr. Williams and the victims. The victims are a couple, a married couple. They do have a child in common that's here in Dublin. This is one of our more upper middle class affluent communities. It's an area where there is not violence. These things don't happen. And so it's very shocking for that part of the community, that neighborhood, to have to deal with this. We're trying to make sense of all this and lead our community and lead our agency and this city through this very difficult time. So a lot of questions to come. We believe we'll get the full picture. We believe at some point we'll land on a motive as a reason as to why this happened. We'll slowly get there, and we'll make that available when it's time.
But he knew them, right? It's not like
He knew them. He knew them. This was not a random crime. This is not. This is a very bizarre chain of events that unfolded, and I think as the story unfolds, you guys will understand that better.
Was the third eyewitness, was that their child, and how old is the child?
They have a juvenile, adolescent child, younger child. Don't want to get into specifics on the child, but I will say there was a relative of the family that was in town that was visiting, and when this event unfolded, that relative was present in the home and became a key eyewitness in this investigation.
The weapon that you're seeking to recover, is that the deputy's duty weapon?
We believe it is. It was his duty firearm that we're actively looking for now. We believe it was discarded somewhere on the Altamont. Our people are out there now searching for it. Hopefully we find it quickly. And it's thankfully in a rural area, so we don't have any immediate major concerns that someone could come across it. We think he discarded it in an area that's likely off anywhere from the public.
Did the suspect give any admissions or describe anything about the act?
You know, when you're engaging in these conversations, they're very difficult. There is obviously we were able to record some of the conversation. There was discussions, but I think the chief did an outstanding job in keeping it relevant to the moment, and in dealing with someone in crisis, in mental health crisis. You have to carefully work your way through that, and it's a very, you have to watch the tempo of the conversation. I think the chief, with all his years of experience, did a fantastic job. There's a lot in those conversations that will be relevant later, but as for now, I think that we did an outstanding job intervening, de-escalating, using crisis intervention techniques with our staff to bring this to a peaceful resolution.
You mentioned mental health crisis. Does he have a history of mental health concerns?
No, there's nothing in his background that would indicate that. That will be, he's been with our agency for a year. We're going to go back in time. We're going to look at what's transpired in his life over the last year to see exactly what led up to this moment. So that'll all be part of the investigation. We want to look at that not just for the purposes of the criminal investigation, but from a law enforcement standpoint to see. We do very, very thorough background investigations, and I think our people are saying, did we miss something? Did we not do something right? Everything that I've seen, everything that's been reported to us would indicate that he was a very good candidate for law enforcement, that somewhere in the last several months of his life, some significant events happened that led up to this moment. A lot of those events went undiscovered and undisclosed, and we're going to be looking into that. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
And did this couple play a part in some of those events that have unfolded over
I think so. I think that as that story unfolds, we'll know more. But I think that obviously, yeah, to lead to this seriousness of a crime, there's a lot going on here.
Still pretty early on, but at this point, being that this is one of your own, are you guys planning on handling the investigation from start to finish on your own?
So here's what we'll do, is here's what we're going to do. This is a homicide investigation. The fact that it's a law enforcement deputy sheriff employed by our agency is a factor, and I think it's important toward public transparency. What we will do is we will bring in the district attorney's office from Alameda County. If we at any point along the way see any conflict of interest or any issue, which I don't think there will be, we will immediately bring in other agencies to help. But our district attorney's office is well equipped to come in and partner with us on this. We will be and are in contact with them. So this will be open, transparent. At the end of the day, this is a tragedy. We're all in. We're in shock here. We're in shock.
With 1 year of service, does that mean he was in the jails working there, or was he on patrol?
So, because of he was currently assigned to our courthouse division, and he worked in Oakland at our courthouse in Oakland. That's based on his assignment when he came to our agency. We've been trying to staff our agency. Law enforcement's been having a difficult time staffing our agency. So he was, normally he would go to our detention and corrections division, but he went to our court division, and he had worked there and done a very well job. I mean, we have not heard anything, about him being any problems. He was not on the radar of any of his supervisors. None of his fellow employees or personnel reported any type of incidents to us. So we're in shock, as you can see.